I cannot believe I made this dress for $9. This beautiful pinafore dress had been following me around on Pinterest for years, so I finally gave in to the pressures of social media and just made it myself. Thankfully, I had this fabric in stash and it was finally its time to shine. I didn't have a pattern, but it looked simple enough that I could figure it out by myself, and I'm glad I took that chance. Of course, there were trials, there were tribulations, there were moments where I almost didn't finish, but here we are, and for $9. First things first, I had to throw away my fabric. Just kidding, this is my washing machine. I had to wash it and then iron it and iron some more and keep ironing because there's a lot. But I guess I didn't do a very good job because the whole time this iron was judging me, and highly suspicious if you ask me. Then I had to pin all my hems for my button bands on the sides. And then I got to cutting. I had to cut a straight line just to make sure that I had all the different pieces that I needed. One for the skirt, one for the bands, and one for the bodice. And then just cutting all the fabric. And after such hard work, I had to take a nap because I was exhausted. Just kidding, the iron was back at it judging me, so back to work it is. Then I had to kind of visualize the pieces just to make sure that I thought I had enough. I don't know, I'm just making this up and I've never done this before, so we're just figuring it out. But here I have my handy dandy pieces. I had to work the past few days, so I haven't done really anything, but I did acquire some buttons. I still have to figure out how I'm gonna do the pleats, so I guess I gotta drag out my iron again. That'll be fun. I really need to redo this. I paid $6 for this, apparently. And I paid $6 for it like 3 years ago, so I never took the tag off. Finally committed to this piece. Drink up. I think I'm just gonna wing it. I looked it up, and the middle of the front has to be a box pleat and then knife pleats. So with my newfound expertise, we'll figure it out. Let's all take a moment to laugh at past me for thinking that the pleats were gonna be hard to figure out. Little did she know there was a whole storm coming. But here I am pinning the pleats into place. Ooh, alliteration. But then I made a discovery. I think there's pockets, because I thought it was a pleat, but it's now looking at it again, I think it's a pocket. And I have to have pockets. And after deciding I needed pockets, I promptly ignored that and just continued with the pleats. Later me would have to just figure it out, I guess. But here you see I have the pleats all in place, so after trying it on, I went ahead and ironed them, set them into place. No going back from here. But I think we all need a little break, so please enjoy this intermission of me winding my bobbin. Did you enjoy your intermission? Great, because now we have a ton of sewing to get through. Now, I will spare you the times that I messed up and redid the same thing about 2 or 3 times, but you will see a little bit of that, I think. So once I pinned the pleats into place, then I ironed the pleats into place, and now I am sewing the pleats into place. So join me as we sew all of this together and make sure to lock in those pleats. They ain't going anywhere. I could feel someone watching me, and sure enough, it was this iron, so I had to put him in the corner. Next, we had to cut out my bodice piece. So I measured everything, drew some lines, I measured the darts and where to put those, which I had never done those before, but actually those were super easy and made complete sense to me. I don't know if that's from my crochet and knitting background, but I really appreciated that. So here I'm pinning it into place, and then we will get to the pockets. Ooh, finally cutting out some pockets. And then I do absolutely nothing until the very last step. So here I am just deciding that I need some lining because the fabric was a little bit thin. So I just cut a rectangle out of fabric, the length that I wanted it to be under my skirt. And I just pinned that into place and then I sewed it. If I would have realized before I sewed the pleats, I probably would have done it then. But here I am just sewing the darts on the bodice, and like I said, this was super easy, and I'm really happy that I did it because it helps a lot with the shape. Then you see me sewing the straps onto the bodice. Now, do not be like me and just sew them right sides together. Make sure that you have all of your edges rolled under. Make sure that you have the width of the strap that you need. Make sure that the hem on your top is rolled over and complete before you sew on your straps. Learn from my mistakes, people. Now here I am redoing my waistband because it was too long, so I had to fold it over, and again, I wish I would have realized this before I sewed it all together, but I did not. So here I am correcting my mistakes. And here you see I am folding that over and sewing it together so then I can sew it to the bodice, which I think was the last major change that I had to fix. But yes, I ended up having to sew shut my straps on the bodice because I did not do that ahead of time, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I was figuring it out and learning. I know a lot more the next time I'm going to do something like this, so I'm okay. But now it is starting to look like a dress. And then I went to town sewing buttons. There were 12 buttons all together, 10 buttons going down the back and then one on each strap. But I didn't have enough of the same size of buttons to use one type of button, so I did this mix and match thing, and they kind of match the dress. It's fine. I like it. I think it's fun, and I had no other choice, so... But then I learned how to sew buttonholes with my machine. I had never done this before, and I just looked it up and figured it out on a test piece of fabric, and voila, machine buttonholes that I don't have to sit there for 10 hours sewing by hand. It was magic. And under strict supervision of the iron that was constantly judging me, I opened up the buttonholes, and all that was left to do is the very last step. Now, as promised, the last step of this was sewing the pockets. I did this while we were watching Justice League, which is one of my husband's favorite shows, and I've never seen it, so he wanted to show it to me, and it is so fun, very 90s, but I had pockets at the end of it. And now for the glamour shots. Even though I had the iron judging me the whole time, things went wrong, I had to fix my mistakes. In the end, we have a dress. I am very proud of myself for sticking it through. It even kind of looks like the inspiration. I'm very happy with it. And just like that, I entered my princess era, and I think the wildlife could tell because this grasshopper was making moves. But joke's on him, I already have a Prince Charming, so he left. And after a hard day of ruling my kingdom, basking in the sun on my throne, I had to show off my pockets because, as every girl knows, you have to show off your pockets. That's rule number 1 of having pockets. But anywho, this dress makes me feel fancy, like I can come get some water from my rain barrel. Except it's the middle of summer in Texas and there is no rain in my rain barrel. What the heck? Hand over the water. What did you do with it? Sorry. It's probably not your fault. In the meantime, I'll have a great time posing in this dress because it is magical what a good dress can make you feel like. And there it is. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to this channel for more content from me. You can find me Instagram, Ravelry, down below. You can also donate, give me a cup of coffee, or contribute to my video fund down in Ko-fi. And I will see you next time. Bye!